Mega March is once again teaming up with HobbyLink Japan to bring you a deal. Use coupon code MEGAMARCH24 at checkout to save 5% on any in-stock items. The code is valid all through March, so be sure to use it while you can. Affiliate link is in the description, and thanks again to HobbyLink Japan for supporting the channel.
Let's jack into Mega March! Yeah, baby!
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mega March. My name is GroundMan.EXE, and today I am joined by...
RexDiamond, what's up?
Hey! You may know Rex as the voice of Magma Dragoon, or Dr. Light from Mega Editorial Stuff, and I'm sure it's not the last time that he's gonna to grace us with his beautiful, luscious voice.
Thank you. So, it's great to be here.
I'm extremely happy to have you. You know, this was a Battle Network celebration once again, and after I knew of your Battle Network 5 project, which is going through the entire game, being completely voiced by several people, I might be in it too, oh my god. But, you know, it's so cool, and just having someone that really knows their stuff with Battle Network, I think, is the perfect kind of person to have on for this Mega March. So thank you so much for agreeing to be on.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and it's good to have my knowledge valued. So, like, because I grew up playing Battle Network from 3 to 6. I didn't get a chance to play the first and second ones, but I have them now thanks to the collection. But 3 to 6 were my jams, with 6 being my favorite, 3 being my second, and 5 being my third. The only reason why 3 is at the top, is it, so 6, 3, 5. Yeah. The only reason why 3 is on there, one of the reasons why 3 is on there, because everyone loves 3, and at the same time, it's very dynamic. You take a completely different concept, and you have so much to do versus the other games, which had their own different concepts, like X, the regular games, and what have you.
Right. Yeah, they Battle Network's a trip. Like, you know, peeling back the curtain again. Right now we are, I think, mostly through Battle Network 3, and I can see why lots of people speak highly of it. I think it's the best one so far, you know, out of 1, 2, 3. And I'm really enjoying it. Battle Network is something I tragically missed in my younger days. I don't know how. Like, JRPGs and Mega Man are like my favorite things, and I somehow missed it. But you know, it's never too late to change, and the Legacy Collection has got my back. So
yeah, definitely,
it's been really fun.
Definitely, yeah. So again, I love the series. It's and to see it come into the collection, because we had gotten news earlier. They said, hey, they scrapped all ideas for a collection of Battle Network. I was so disappointed, and I'm just gonna go buy the original ones and just go from there.
I mean, I was really glad when, you know, they're like, hey, collection. I'm like, thank God. You know, like I've seen one of these games physically in, you know, the past like 5 years. You know, I saw a box copy of 1, and that was it. I'm like, that's already out of my price range, and that's the cheapest one.
Yep, price tag's steep on those games.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why, but let's ground this conversation because we're talking about GroundMan and GroundMan.EXE, of course. So, for the uninitiated, GroundMan is not from any of the, you know, the numbered Mega Man Classic titles. He's from Rockman and Forte, and he's a very busy design, but he looks like he's gonna drill into the earth and also become a tank, because that's what he does. And it's a really cool design, and I was wondering, how are they gonna do this in, you know, Battle Network? And so I look at this, and they just made Rhyperior, I think, before Rhyperior.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's really cool. Like it takes the idea of classic GroundMan turning into a tank and like rolling with it, and I think that's really cool. Like it's mode B for GroundMan Classic, and that's cool. And I don't know. I like it. He's intimidating. I'm kind of scared of him.
Yeah, they definitely did. So the interesting thing, because we went over Dustman and we went over Chargeman, GroundMan, both original and EXE, because I picked this one on purpose. I've dealt with both of them. More so the classic one, but I'm very familiar with the EXE one as well, even though I didn't have Falter at the time. But for the classic, for Mega Man and Base, which is where I first ran into him, I was like, oh, this dude turns into a tank. Because I think the boss order for this is GroundMan's first, or he's the easiest to deal with first. And if he wasn't, I really made my job a lot harder when I went through that. But you find him in an underground cavern digging, as groundmen do. You have to fight a worm to get through him, and it through a pyramid, I think, which was really fun.
Yeah, I think it's pyramid or pyramid based or something. It's very sandy something level.
It's very sandy, and then you run into GroundMan at the end, who's just digging everywhere. I think he starts digging into the walls because he's obviously going from walking, shooting drill charges at you to just straight up tank mode, and then going, I will say, very fast, back and forth on the field, and you gotta dodge him and stuff. Plus, his levels theme I actually really like, and it's really catchy.
Yeah, GroundMan was definitely a standout on Rock Band and Forte, or Mega Man and Bass, whatever your persuasion. One thing about GroundMan Classic that EXE doesn't have is Classic has a very dangerous codpiece.
Definitely.
I just wanted to point that out.
Definitely.
That's all I've got.
Definitely. Speaking of EXE, because you look at GroundMan Classic and he's just loaded. Like, this guy's got drills for days. and
little drill clown shoes.
Exactly.
It's hilarious.
Exactly. And then you look at his face too. This guy looks like he's flipping crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, Dr. Wily really entrusted this guy with drills. He looks like he's gonna do something with them that's gonna hurt all of us, which he does.
I'm a danger to myself and everyone around.
Exactly. And then you go to GroundMan.EXE, who's just this loaded tank, ready to roll. And if you look closer, at the pictures, you can tell there's like some prongs on the tip of the drills right there.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a nice touch. And then at the same time, those attacks, obviously he's got treads, so going back to classic GroundMan, you see that you see him utilize those treads when rushing at you in EXE, and then after he hits the back line of if he misses, well, if he hits, obviously he's gonna do something, but if he misses, he hit the back line, and all these rocks just start pouring out onto your field.
Man, he sounds just as dangerous as a classic GroundMan, and I can totally dig that. That's really good. Pun not intended, but I can dig it. But that's like, I love when a satisfying like boss or whatever, like, you know, whatever it's supposed to be, if it's satisfying enough to match how cool the design is, because this is an excellent design, like all of them that we've discussed.
Yeah.
Like this is just like, it's a really cool design, and I'm happy to hear that the boss fight sounds just as fun as this guy looks, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's very satisfying to do, because I've seen the fights multiple times for this. But unlike Dustman and Chargeman, well, actually Chargeman mainly, I've run into GroundMan in PvP as well, because when you get the ground crossover in Falter version, it's considered one of the best. So you got this whole look to Mega Man. He's clearly got that construction type of look. Shoulders, got drills pointing straight up. And the reason why it's used so much in PvP is because you can dig. You can literally lead the field and pop up with the drill arm on the other side, and you get immunity. Wait, you don't get immunity frames when you pop up, but while you're underground, you can just subvert everything and pop up right there. When you go into beast form, it's even better, because now you got the drills on the shoulder, shoulders. You got the razor wings. You got the razor claws with you, and then the drills that got the prongs on them in beast mode, and then the charge attack is being able to rush straight down the lane with complete invincibility.
Man,
like
from everything I've heard about, he's also from 6, right?
Right.
Okay, so from everything I've heard about 6, like, it must be a horrifying game in PvP. Because they like, everything sounds so strong, you know?
Yeah, they threw the rulebook out the window with that, because 5 is messy, because you have Dark Soul, which everyone's like, yeah, we need to ban this in competitive. 3 is not too bad. 4, Dark Soul, same thing. But 6 is where everyone goes to for PvP, because it's got everything you need. Nothing's been nerfed. Of course, things have been changed, like, hey, no stocking 2 Life Aura chips type of deal. And then just going from there.
Man, meanwhile, in my beginner world, I just did my first successful program advance 3 games. so I'm completely doomed if I ever step on the PvP field.
Like, you see program advances, and like we were talking about Charge Man, which was used to defeat base in Gregor version. For it's like, hey, what do you use to defeat base in Fulzer version? It's GroundMan, because you can. The most annoying thing having to deal with base is just the Buster Rake, which is it rakes the entire field with Buster shots. I don't know how people have done this, because I've seen the videos and I know it was legit, and you just see them move around and miss, and base misses every shot, and I'm looking at them like, how do you do this? But for GroundMan, when you go ground crossover, you can just subvert the shots completely and cancel it out.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, just go underground.
And then
take a little coffee break, come back,
and then pop up right in front of him and do multiple hit damage.
That's so cool.
So it's good.
That is cool. I'm back to just looking at GroundMan.EXE, and there's something about his little mouthpiece. Like it looks like he's got like armor in front that like makes a mouth shape, and it looks so intimidating. Like we're back to, he's like Rhyperior Tyranitar type thing, you know? And it's really cool. Like, he's legitimatately, like, frightening. Like, you look at GroundMan Classic, and he's frightening because I don't want, like, he shouldn't be near children or the elderly, you know? Like, but you look at this one, and he's a war machine, you know? And it's really neat. I really like it. I like that he's got, like, cogs for, like, wrist braces.
Right.
Like, his arms kind of seem useless. Like, they look cool, but I can't see him reaching too much because his drills are, like, longer than his arms.
Definitely not. Maybe off to the side he'll be fine, but everywhere else it's like, not happening.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna give you a high five, but from over here, not in front.
He's like, high five the drill. Here. He's like, is that thing active? He's like, no.
Not yet.
and speaking of his face, because you look at it and it's got that like hearted mask. When you hear him talk in Battle Network 6, you get a close up of that face just right there. You're like, oh, that's GroundMan right there. Wow, this guy doesn't look like you want to run into him in a dark alley.
Hey, did I mention I like being friends with people who I'm scared of?
Exactly. But yeah,
please be my friend, not my enemy.
Exactly. Just GroundMan's really cool. And then one of his default attacks is the fact that I believe he disappears, and then all you see on your side of the field where you're standing is it'll give you a few seconds of delay to actually dodge, but all these drills just come up in the panel and it just attacks. That's one of the attacks, and it's like, wow, how did he do that? It's like it's like, I don't know, but I clearly got to keep moving.
I guess it's trying to emulate when GroundMan Classic would burrow into the ground and then pop back up. I guess that's sort of,
yeah.
It's like kind of making that sort of thing Battle Network style.
Yeah, it's useful. Plus, GroundMan being the breaker type, if you run into sword types,
that makes sense.
If you run into sword types, like this is the guy you want right here, because for crossovers, when they get hit by their weakness, because then they establish a weakness system like they have in Pokemon for Battle Network 6. You have your basic fire, lightning, and water, but then it goes even more in depth where you have sword, breaker, and breaker beats sword. So if you run into somebody running, say, which would probably be me, slash crossover, you can immediately break it just using GroundMan or Dustman.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like,
I like that system. In theory, I have a feeling when I come to it, I will be very frustrated with it. But I like the idea. It feels good in my brain.
yeah, it's good because I like the crossover system so much due to the fact that you get these new looks of Mega Man, like GroundMan or RexDiamond, who actually is an original from what I understand, and at the same time, it's like they're permanent. They're permanent for the whole match, but if they get hit by their weakness, then they're canceled out.
Okay. That's really interesting. I'm looking forward to trying that just in general because the only thing I really knew about Battle Network way back in the day was like the crossover, forms or whatever. Because like I'd seen some of the toys and I saw one where it was Mega Man and Metal Man, like put together, and I was like, this is a really cool looking design. I don't know anything about it. I didn't think, because the only thing I knew before that was Battle Network 1. I was like, oh, he doesn't change colors or anything, like, boo, because like I was really big into the X series. Like that's my favorite. It was like, because one of the cool things is you start looking like this and you end up looking like this. Like I love that idea. But then when I saw it, it's like, oh, he's taking on forms of the bosses, and then I saw stuff like Heat Guts, and I'm like, okay, all right. But by then, I'd already missed so many. I was like, well, if I'm not starting from the beginning, I don't really wanna. And then, unfortunately, missed out. But, geez, I'm looking way forward to this because this is just so cool. Like, just back to GroundMan.EXE, but just by himself. He's so industrial. Like he's literally a dude sticking out of a tank.
Yeah.
And he's got a cool collar, so he's like the cool kid.
Yeah.
That is a popped collar and a half, and I love it.
Definitely. He knows he's rolling, and he's ready.
He's rolling.
and it's like you mentioned about the systems, because you have because I've seen you play through Battle Networks 1 through 3, and it's been very enjoyable live stream. Check it out, people.
Oh, thank you.
And
thank you.
Like you said, it's like first game it's like, oh, he doesn't change color, boo. Then the second game he gets the style system, and then by the fourth game that's replaced with the double soul system, and then finally it ends with a crossover system, which just everything that had made those two previous systems good is what crossover came to be. And then moving in, if they were to make a 7, like everyone would have banked on the crossover system being used, and then even brought to greater heights.
Well, man, like I'm happy to hear that it is successfully iterating on itself. Like I only knew about the double soul. That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's where you found Metal Man.
That's all I knew about, and that was just at a glance. I could be like, oh yeah, that's that. So I've until today in our recording sessions, I never even heard of the other thing. So it's really fun, and I'm glad that I'm a recent convert to Battle Network, and if you haven't tried it yet, I suggest it. It's very fun.
Agreed. It's very fun. So much to do in a GBA game is what people should probably understand, because there's a whole end game after that.
Yeah, and like that. Not only is there just a ton to do, and like it's still portable if you have it on Switch or Steam Deck or whatever. So it's still got that fun portability, but also it is just chock full of cool designs. Man, like I don't know, like when I was first seeing stuff, it's like, oh, everybody's in scuba suits, whatever. But no, this is just a cool robot guy, but he's just happens to be a computer program.
Yep.
It's confusing, but I don't care. He looks cool, and I like him.
Yeah, that's one of the things that drew me to Battle Network, because I believe you covered base earlier, and then being able to see
Yep, that was last year.
being able to see base cross, like everyone who was playing in the community, like, we want our hands on that, but it was Japanese exclusive, and we had to go through a Game Shark just to get it, or go overseas and get the e-reader card. But thanks to the collection, they're like, you get all of that for whatever price tag it is now.
Man, all right, yeah, I'm glad that they just threw all that stuff in, so we wouldn't have to worry about jumping through hoops like we used to back in the day.
Yep. Back in the day, I was like, one day video games will be online. It's like, if you don't play on PC, then you probably haven't heard the word, because I sure didn't at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because like the Battle Network series, it's all about like, you know, it's like, online connectivity and stuff. It's like, you know, back when these games were new, it's like, oh man, that sure does sound like a fun pipe dream. And now it's like, you know, you have the most powerful computer that you've ever had in your pocket at all times. It's really strange. We made it. We are Battle Network.
Exactly, and that's also why I was really excited to do this, because I'd realized after playing back, because I started back at 6, I was like, I'm starting at 6, and I'm just going from there. I believe I completed it completely. But I realized, I was like, wait a second, a lot of the concepts in this game are now a reality versus when I was a kid growing up, and we were like, wow, that sounds so fun to connect on the internet. I'll just play even the undernet, which
yeah,
that's real too. It's called Reddit, by the way.
Oh no,
it's amazing.
I'm gonna bleep that out.
But yeah.
Oh man, but yeah. Hey, I know this was supposed to be about GroundMan, but we can't keep things grounded for too long. So hello, welcome to honorary Ramblin Reploids episode. If you haven't tried Battle Network, I'd say give it a shot. It's really fun. It's got cool designs. Like I know the collection's been selling really well. It doesn't really need me pushing it, but might as well. Hey, it's fun. Give it a shot. The only weird thing is, there are places called like Yumland, and that's silly. But besides that, you know, go for it. It's a good time.
It is, yeah.
But I think that'll do it for GroundMan. Mr. RexDiamond, thank you so much for being on Mega March this year. It's been a pleasure having you.
It's been so exciting. Like, I was really looking forward to this, and appreciate you asking me. Because when you did, I was like, I'm ready. I gotta pick someone. I'm ready still. Just give me a second. I gotta pick someone.
Yeah, you were there like immediately when I was like, all right, here's a tentative list. You're like, boom, boom, boom. Oh, okay, all right.
So that's great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. If one last time, if you want to advertise your little project again, it's a really cool thing. But I feel like you could describe it a lot better than I can.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys check out my page, RXD Voices, we are doing a Let's Play of Mega Man Battle Network 5 Team Colonel called Voices in the Network. Over 40, probably even more now, voice actors are involved in this Let's Play in voicing every single character that Mega Man and Lan run into within this game. I 100%ed the game as a kid, and I was like, I want to do something that really, and that's an even better way to run through Colonel again, and this is what we came up with. So a lot of talents there. Things you're hearing 2 of them right now, and it's been great.
It's a really cool project. It is linked in the description, so please check it out. Give my friend Rex some love.
Appreciate
and
it.
Hopefully this isn't the last time we see him on the channel, like I mentioned earlier. There's always fun projects happening over here, and I can always use dulcet tones.
Awesome.
So, you know, I'll be reaching out to you.
I got you covered.
Alright everybody, thank you for joining us, and Mega March continues through, you'll never believe it, the rest of March, so I'll see you tomorrow.
Take it easy.
Bye bye.